Welcome to P5!
Again.
Our microphones were not connected. We recorded this already.
Happy to be here, though.
So it's going to be a kind of a lightning round because it was already a fast one because we haven't recorded in a while.
That's okay.
And now we're going to do it again. So
We've got coming at you, The Boys.
Yes, The Boys season 3.
And for our poo-poo movie of the day,
Longlegs.
with Nic Cage as a bad guy villain that everyone was so excited. Well, not okay. I won't play it up like that. We're gonna start with which
episode 10 of P5. We have mics now. They should be actually working. Last episode they weren't working. We just recorded with them clipped onto us, and then they didn't do anything because I didn't know the right settings.
They were good decoration.
So yeah, they were a fun little decoration. Now they should actually be working after re-recording this.
Yeah, Poppy, what do you have to say about that?
Sniff, 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 sniff. Sniff, sniff, sniff. So, Longlegs. It had a lot of hype around it. There was a bunch of commercials that were all crazy and puzzly looking, and they said Nic Cage was going to be in it, but then they didn't show his face, and then everyone was like, it looks like the scariest movie ever. And then we went and saw it, and we were kind of underwhelmed and a bit disappointed.
Agreed. Yeah, I'll summarize that again really quickly too, because I think the first time we did this, we noted that the marketing behind this movie was a machine.
Yeah,
they put
it was really good.
So much money into the commercials, the everything. There was like little subliminal messages here and there and symbols that people were pausing the commercials to try to decode what it meant, and it turned out, spoiler alert, in 3, 2, 1, this movie was just a classic satanic panic, and that was a letdown. But they said, we were expecting, the modern day Silence of the Lambs, but they should not have.
They shouldn't have said that. Yeah, that probably made it even worse in our eyes because
whoever that quote was, or is responsible for that quote, did a big disservice to the movie. Yeah. Because the only parallel was that Micah Monroe's character, Lee something, she was an FBI agent chasing down a baddie.
And a baddie that looked kind of like Buffalo Bill, like too much like Buffalo Bill. We'll get back to that a little bit, but yeah, he kind of, it was basically Buffalo Bill in a Nic Cage suit, or vice versa, whatever way you want to look at it.
Honestly.
So we'll start with aesthetics. I think we both gave it an 8.
But you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna leave it. Gave it an 8.
So I gave it an 8 just because I thought this is definitely one of the 2 strong suits in the movie. Like, I think it looked really cool. The color grading and stuff was very intentional. They made a lot of like scary scenes have this like red kind of pallor over it.
The intensity that was brought or displayed with the commercials, where you didn't get any of the plot, you had really no idea what you were going to get with this movie, but just the vibe. The vibe still delivered.
Yeah.
I think I wrote
camera angles, super cool, like camera angles and like
it felt like we
scene
were
transitions.
Part of something new, or like a new leg of the horror genre, like what's gonna happen, and then it was satanic panic. Yeah. The most basic thing.
Yeah. So yeah, the aesthetics were really cool.
Good noise.
The only reason why sound effects were cool. I did demote it though, partly from like a 9 or a 10 because it did look really cool, because I didn't think Nic Cage's character actually ended up looking all that scary. He kind of just looked like Nic Cage with prosthetics. He looked like Nic Cage with a bunch of junk on him.
The character could have gone further. I read a couple things or like saw an interview where Nic Cage was talking about how he was channeling certain aspects of his mother during this performance, and like, which was not. It was a very strange article. Anyways, they walk a fine line of suggesting that this character's gender and sexual orientation plays this big role, but they don't explore it at all. Which I think I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I feel like it would have gone a completely different way. But it felt like something was there that wasn't addressed for some reason.
Yeah.
And they could have gone further with it. His prosthetics just looked like someone took, I think he said it first, some glued on his face and just kind of like.
I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, go be a movie monster. All right.
Which brings us to acting. I gave it a 9.
I also gave it a 9.
Yeah, the acting was really good. Micah Monroe, she did a really good job. I think it was like one of her big breakout roles, and she honestly did a great job in it. Her
Agreed.
like facial expressions and her show of fear, but like also her show of her character trying to like hold a straight face because she's an FBI agent and not just like a random, college student getting chased by a guy with a knife. So
it does turn out though that she has a personal connection to the killer, or to Longlegs, and that is a spoiler one, I guess. Whatever, we said spoiler earlier. She has this personal connection that one of the big twists is the revelation that she's the only one that ever crossed his path and lived. And I think you find that out pretty early in the movie, that she had met this killer. But you don't find out the true truth, the extent of the truth until the end, and it's just like flashes of things that even her character wouldn't have seen. It was like scenes with just
him.
The mom and him.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a letdown, but
yeah.
Again, going into this with the premise of the modern Silence of the Lambs, for this actress to be expected to fill Jodie Foster's shoes is a big one.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That was unfair.
Yeah, and I think honestly, if she was given we'll get to a better script, I think she would have been up to that level.
Yeah.
Like I think her character was very well acted, and even Nicolas Cage was too. I mean, he was definitely very Nicolas Cage, but I think if he had a better backdrop of a script to work with, he would have, like if he just acted the same way he did but with more to flesh it together, I think it would have been good.
Yeah.
It just
such things were left vague that didn't need to be.
Yeah.
And other things were like spelled out that didn't quite need to be. But I don't know.
And it just seemed like there was gonna be.
Oh, I can use my note that I said in the last time we recorded this. Just that for this movie, it was always that the simplest answer was the right answer.
Yeah,
and that
for sure.
made me annoyed.
Yeah, it was more cut and dry than either of us were expecting from the ads and stuff. I think both of us were expecting more like mystery and intrigue and more like mind games maybe to be going on between Micah and or is it Mika or Micah?
I don't know if it's Micah or Mika.
Okay, well it's one of those. Micah Monroe. I feel like there was gonna be more like mental clashing going on and like cat and mouse game or something a little bit more, and it was just, it was more just like devil guy scary, bad scary devil guy. He loves the devil, or the devil loves him,
Hide
or
your kids.
Both, and
Good luck.
He's scary. And he's mysterious, but like in the most on-the-nose way you could possibly be. So yeah, with what he was given for us, so for script, I just said I said a 6.5.
I wrote 5 just because it was a little.
Definitely the weak point of the movie for sure. Just very on the nose.
Micah Monroe.
Oh, it is Micah. Okay.
I guess Micah.
Micah Monroe. She just like there was a little bit of like the stuff her discovering in the beginning.
Stand down, Busy.
Lay down.
Stand down, Poppy. Busy. Come here.
So the script was subpar. I think if given better material, both actors would have been able to it would be like a top tier movie. It's just, the scripting was just weak because everything around it was kind of cool. But if they had fleshed stuff out a bit more, I think it would have been much cooler.
Agreed.
I thought there was going to be maybe some sort of like satanic cult with all these symbols, and he was like maybe from some long line of demon-possessed people or something, and he was like doing some diabolical shenanigans, but he was just kind I don't know, it kind of seems like he just wasn't, and his climax at the end of like kind of the denouement of his character was also just very lackluster in my opinion.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's Longlegs. Meh.
On to the boys.
Boys, season 3.
Okay. We covered that in this one. Nazi Lady McGee.
Mm-hmm.
Stormtrooper. No, not Stormtrooper. Stormfront. If only she had the aim of a stormtrooper, that would be much better for everyone. Well, actually, okay, irrelevant. She is incapacitated for this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Or this season, I should say. Jesus. Homelander is using her for pleasure and as a confidant for a little bit. It's pretty sad to see her just clinging on to any sort of hope, but she deserves it. She deserves everything she got coming to her.
She's still kind of holding on to the fact that he would be like a
Homelander,
Nazi king of the new world or something. He just wasn't about that. But he's kind of this. He's still a
piece of shit.
Yeah, he's just a different sort of fascist.
Different kind of piece of shit. Which brings me to the other point that I had for this season, that let's start in order. So the aesthetics. So the makeup for Stormfront, and when she's all like fucked up and everything, I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Any of the wounds, all of that, it felt very continuous, or I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it felt like just like the other seasons. It felt just like
it felt really good. There was nothing that took me out of it. So plus there for like any supernatural superpower kind of show, I feel like there's always some kind of cheesy effect that sort of is like you gotta kind of just look past it a little bit.
Yeah, like his Homelander's
disbelief.
Laser eyes were, for me, I think in the first season issue. Can't remember what I said about that, but Ryan lasering his mom in the finale of the second or third season, I don't remember which one it was. When his laser eye, like some of the paths they do, I'm like, wow, that looks legit. Yeah. Nice job. But then sometimes Homelander, I'm just like, okay, Superman, let's sit down for a minute. Yeah. You look silly.
I still gave him a 10. I still thought they were really good anyway.
They are really good. They're fantastic.
Yeah. For any like other superhero stuff, it's pretty good. Acting, I also said was a 10. I thought it was really good.
I did give it a 10 too.
I thought everyone did either as good as they did before, which was really great, or they even did a little bit better.
Character growth with Huey.
Yeah, character growth with Huey I liked. And then I was also thinking too of Blue Street guy. Fast Man.
Oh, not the deep. A-Train.
A-Train, yeah. I thought his stuff has gotten more interesting recently, where it was kind of exploring his interaction with his family and his race and how that like applied to
and like actual people in his neighborhood, not just him blowing up and taking all his money and living the high life.
They actually
the repercussions
they made him seem a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, and more of a whole character, not just a propped up on stage superhero, which is what they all are. It's just we got to see more of his backstory, which is nice. And
kind of like, I don't know, the decisions he makes and how
their repercussions.
Selfish. And from being selfish, how people get their rocked, whether intentionally or not. So I thought it was really good.
Acting 10, I gave it 10. Again, everybody I don't know, I wrote a note about typecasting here. I don't know if there was typecasting going on, but they all seem to be perfect picks for their roles. Yeah. There's no one that like really sticks out to me as like, man, Florence Pugh could have really done that better, or there's nobody where I can think of.
Yeah, they all did such a good job.
And script then. Yeah. Script being I would say that the script lends to that, not hinders.
Yeah, I gave it a 9.
Also 9.
So I didn't give it like a perfect score, just because there are like still moments of like cliche, which I can't demote it too much for, because I think they're trying not to. Yeah, it's a comic trope, and then I think they're trying not to distract from the satire with twisty, turny writing, And then there was a couple parts where I felt like the lines seemed a little clunky in there, more just to move the story to its next logical point rather than what the characters would actually do. Kind of like that character flip-floppiness that sort of happens sometimes in different shows, too quickly seeming sometimes. I don't know, but there's also, there's not a billion episodes a season. They got to move the story forward. But there's just a couple times where it felt like that to me. But overall, still, I like it a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite shows as of the recent past. And honestly, Arcane, I think I kind of like it better than The Boys, maybe in a different sort of way. But Arcane was really good too. So those couple of the best shows we've seen.
My 9 for the script was only a 9 because some of the twists felt a little predictable, but again, that's coming from a comic book trope, I think. And the only one I could think of where it was like, Homelander is actually a relative of Soldier Boy. Yep. Okay. Yep. Surprise. Woo.
Yeah.
But I will say that I like that they have their relationship, it wasn't just a kept secret for seasons and seasons and seasons. They did find out, and I was expecting Homelander and Soldier Boy to go super baddie and just be an unstoppable force. But you see Soldier Boy call Homelander a pussy, and anyways.
Yeah, I did like how they.
Last time.
I did like how they did that. I definitely, I wasn't expecting him to tell him so fast, or however it turned out. I thought it was gonna get played out a little bit longer as well. But I like how they did it where, I don't know. He
didn't validate Homelander at all, which made me laugh so hard. And it's perfect for their characters, because we were saying, they're shit people, they're different strains of shit, but they are a dookie.
Yeah.
Big old pile of dookie.
It just, I don't know, shows how Homelander could have turned out a different way, but still probably a piece of shit, because, his dad's still a piece of shit. So whether or not he was raised by the corporation basically that he was raised by, or his actual dad, who was just kind of another product of this whole shitty thing they're in, he probably just would have been a different kind of piece of garbage, kind of, So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I'm guessing he'll come back in some capacity, maybe, because how it left off, right? Wasn't there potential that Soldier Boy could still come back?
I'm not sure.
We're excited to watch season 4.
Ready for season 4 for sure.
Yeah. So next episode, we're gonna probably be talking about season 4 and some other crappy movie that we find, or Arcane, because we liked it so much. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then
it's time
for
your
animal fact.
Oh, I ruined it. I said fucking fact when you said it.
Oh, that's
Animal fact.
So today we've been speaking the noises of the narwhal.
Narwhals.
Narwhals swimming in the ocean. So they have a tusk. Not all of them. Only the male narwhals have a tusk. And this tusk is actually a tooth that just grows out of their fucking forehead. They're a whale, a type of whale, so they're a tusked whale, a toothed whale. And this big old pointy horn, they are real, they are the unicorns of the sea. They don't stab their prey like you might think, or you might assume, it was very pointy, good for fighting. No, there's not really much. I didn't see any evidence of any fighting with them, nothing like that. They instead stun their prey. They'll take it and they'll just whack them with it. They'll, just
side
karate chop just to get that. It's got a lot of force. I imagine if you've got this long appendage, just get some width to it through the water even, and it, so it stuns the prey, and then they scoop it up with their mouth and eat it. They are carnivores. They eat shrimp and other fish and such. Did I mention that it's a tooth?
Yeah.
It grows out their forehead! Their tooth grows out their head!
So it's just it just comes straight out of the top of their head, kind of?
So it's I believe it's in their their mandible or whatever. There's 2 teeth, and one will just start to grow and go and go and go and go. And the females can develop one, but it usually will fall off. So I don't know if that means that it even pokes through the skin and then falls off, or if it's just a loose tooth that comes out kind of a thing.
Huh.
Not totally sure about that. And then some other people think that the tusk is for like temperature, feeling around like chemical type.
Yeah, because you said they have
They have a lot of
a
nerve
lot of
endings.
nerves, right? Yeah, I was
Like
gonna say it
10
must
million.
be. I'm thinking of like how sensitive teeth can be, and like trying to smack something with a long tooth seems like it could just hurt.
Yeah, they do have a range of motion where they can move. I don't really know how they would evaluate this. The tooth can move about a foot in
Either
any direction, which I want to say if you're like
Whoa.
taking it like a joystick, you can go about a foot
Yeah, so
in
it's
a
like
certain
a
direction.
a
So it has like a
2 foot-
big radius out this
2 foot
way.
diameter circle, kind of.
Ish, yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know though.
I'm just thinking of that going, oh yeah.
They're not studied much. They're up in the Arctic Ocean, Greenland, Canada, Great Britain, and Russia.
Yeah, so they're all
Arctic
cold
Ocean.
boys.
So they're up there.
And we were talking about how, well, I was saying that I didn't know that they were all male with the teeth, but I guess it makes sense that the ones that you usually see with the big pointy sticking out in like movies or anything like that, that's what kind of makes them, people remember them
As
they have
narwhals, yeah,
have
'cause
the
they
big
have the
giant
point.
horn, but
But
otherwise
they're-
they're kind of just like beluga-ish looking
I just
whales.
assumed they were all toothed like that, but yeah, it's a male characteristic, and they do find that the males with the longest tusks are the most successful at reproducing. So it could just be a sexual trait, like a sex characteristic, visually, just to it could be that. But there is evidence of them stunning fish with it, so I don't know. There's an argument to say which came first. Was it to show off how fertile you are, or was it to help you get animals in your mouth? I don't know. I guess that could be one and the same. But, anyways, that's narwhals for
Yes,
ya.
narwhals. And that was a speed episode P5.
at ya.
Episode 10. Tune in for episode 11. We're going to be talking about The Boys,
The Boys,
season
puppy.
4.
The Boys
We're going to
season
watch
4.
it. And then something else, but we'll see what that's going to be. Check out other videos on this channel. There's a bunch of pet content and other little random stuff that we do. And also my other channel, DinoDoesIt, where I work on random little projects and stuff.
He does it.
Yeah. Thanks for
watch
watching. Bye. See you later.
Be